Every time there is a scam in India, one name echoes louder than the rest: CBI. When the local police fails, when the public demand answers, when things gets too dirty to be ignored, it's the CBI that steps in. But here's the catch: the CBI doesn't move unless it's told to. Some call it as a crusader, others call it as a puppet. This is the real story behind the glamour, the rise, the cases, the shackles. Welcome to the world of the Central Bureau investigation. It didn't start as India's premier agency. It began quietly in 1941 during British rule, called as the Special Police Establishment. Its job, not patriotism, not to deliver justice, just catching people who were looting funds from war supplies. After independence, the Indian government saw potential. Then, in 1963, Lal Bahadur Shastri said enough is enough. We need a watchdog that bites. The CBI was born under the Ministry of Home Affairs and later moved to Department of Personnel and Training, which is directly under the Prime Minister's office. You would think that India's top agency can operate anywhere in the country. But here's the fine print: the CBI cannot enter a state or investigate a crime without that state's permission. Yes, even if it's a national level scam, even if it's a public case where people are screaming for justice. It's just like asking the thief if we can check the house. This permission is called general consent. And in recent years, many states, West Bengal, Punjab, Chhattisgarh, Telangana, Kerala, and many more have withdrawn it. Why? They say that CBI is being used as a political weapon. So now in half of India, the CBI is like a lion on a leash, powerful but powerless. For a moment, imagine this: a national agency with over 7,000 officers, with cutting-edge forensics and cybercrime units. But they can't knock on a door unless the local politician says, okay. That's actually not investigation, that's permission. The CBI's file reads like a political thriller. Behind every major headline, there's usually a quiet investigation happening deep inside Delhi's corridors. Let's open a few of those explosive files. Number 1. Bofors Scandal 1987. The scam that changed Indian politics forever. Rupees 64 crore in alleged kickbacks for a Swedish arm deal. Fingers were pointed at the highest office in the land. The CBI chased leads from Delhi to Sweden, but the case dragged for decades. Verdict: acquittals. Truth still being debated. Number 2. 2G Spectrum Case 2008. A 1.76 lakh crores spectrum allocation scam. The public boiled, media exploded, the CBI stepped in, arrests were made, charges were filed, but in 2017, the special court said not enough evidence. Years of drama, zero convictions. Number 3. Colgate Scam 2012. Coal blocks handed out like party favors. Loss over 1.8 lakh crore. The CBI filed dozens of FIRs. Even ex-Prime Minister Manmohan Singh was named. Verdict: a few convictions, but most got away clean. Then comes on number 4, Nirav Modi and the Punjab National Bank scam 2018. One of the largest banking scams in Indian history. Rupees 13,000 crore. The mastermind fled the country before even the CBI knocked. Interpol red corner notices were issued. Arrests abroad, but extradition still pending. Justice still in transit. These are just a few. For every high-profile conviction, there are 5 unsolved, incomplete, or quietly closed files. So, the question is the CBI chasing criminals or chasing headlines? And more importantly, who decides what they chase? In 2013, during the Colgate scam hearings, the Supreme Court made a statement that ripped through the system. The CBI had shared its status report with the Law Ministry and PMO before submitting it to the court. The very people being investigated had already read, and edited the report. That's not justice. That's scripted theater. The court didn't hold back, it thundered. CBI has become a caged parrot, mounting the words of its political masters. With that one line, India's trust in the agency cracked. Since then, the image of CBI as an independent, fearless investigator has been questioned again and again. One day it's investigating a party in power, the next it's being accused of shielding them. Who pulls the strings? Who holds the leash? In 2018, the CBI didn't just battle criminals, it battled itself. CBI Director Alok Verma and Special Director Rakesh Asthana accused each other of corruption. The PMO stepped in, Verma was removed overnight, the CBI headquarters was practically placed under lockdown. For the first time in history, India watched the watchdog fall apart. Well then, when such thing happens, it is quite evident to say that when the hunter turns on itself, when the truth is edited, before even it's filed, when the agency meant to protect democracy becomes its pawn, then the question is no longer who will the CBI catch. It becomes who's caught the CBI. Now we come to the real question, the puppet strings that tug at the heart of the CBI's independence. Who truly controls the agency? And more crucially, who decides what the agency investigates and what it ignores? The CBI is the crown jewel of law enforcement in India. It has the power to go anywhere, investigate anyone, and expose the darkest secrets. But there's one problem. It's not as free as it looks. The power to appoint the director of CBI rests with the Prime Minister, the leader of the opposition, and the Chief of Justice. Sounds like a democratic safeguard, right? 3 checks and balances. Well, here's the catch. The Prime Minister has the final say. That's not a fair fight. It's more like a game, who's the boss, and the Prime Minister is the one calling the shots. Every time a new CBI director is appointed, political pressure isn't just a whisper, it's a storm. The appointment process may look formal, but who gets the job often depends on which party is in power and how they want to use the CBI. The appointments might be made officially by a selection committee, but the real power lies behind the closed doors. In 2019, the Supreme Court ruled that the PMO cannot be the sole deciding authority when it comes to removing the CBI director. Yet, when it comes to who stays and who goes, there is no real firewall. The political influence continues to guide the agency's every move. Political parties know one thing: the CBI can be a tool of power. It can break a scandal wide open or silence it before it explodes. The question remains, how much control does the ruling party want? The CBI wasn't meant to serve just one master, but now, like a caged parrot, it sings to the tune of whoever holds the key to the cage. The agency can't fly, not without the wings of political freedom. Imagine 3 lions in the same jungle. One tracks corruption, one follows the money trail, one hunts down terror. But in today's India, these lines are no longer clear. India doesn't have one sort of justice, it has many. The CBI, the ED, and the NIA. All powerful, all feared, all are answerable to the center. But here's the twist. When power overlaps, conflict brews, and instead of cooperation, we get chaos. For your brief and just understanding, let me tell you, CBI investigates corruption, major criminal conspiracies, tackles high-profile frauds and economic offenses. Often, it is referred as India's top cop, but only when the gate is open. There is a catch. CBI requires prior consents from the state governments to operate in that state. The CBI is just like a lion that needs permission before it can enter the jungle, whereas the Enforcement Directorate investigates money laundering, foreign exchange violations, and economic crimes under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act 2002. This is certainly to stop the conversion of black money into white and chase the illegally earned wealth that's hidden in shell companies, foreign accounts, luxury assets, and whatnot. Under the PMLA, the ED can investigate individuals or companies involved in money laundering, attach or seize properties suspect to be bought using black money, arrest suspects, and take them to special courts for trials. The advantage with Enforcement Directorate is, unlike CBI, the ED does not need state government consent. It operates freely across India under the Ministry of Finance. That's why the Enforcement Directorate is often called the centre's most fearless and most feared weapon. Wherever the money flows, the ED follows. So, who runs the show? In theory, each agency has its lane, but in practice, the roads crisscross and the center holds the steering wheel. Critics say the CBI is used for political vendetta, the ED is used for economic pressure, and the NIA is used to crack down on dissent. Together, these agencies can clean the system, or they can control the system depending on who holds the remote. In today's India, law enforcement is no longer just about law, it's about leverage. And when power becomes a tool of politics, even the sword of justice begins to rust. Now, within all of this, what might have been the public perception? Once upon a time, the name CBI struck fear into the corrupt and comforted into the common man. It was the agency that brought down ministers, unearthed scams, and stood tall when the system crumbled. But somewhere along the road, the image began to blur. Cases like the Bofors scandal, the 2G scam, and the Satyam fraud made the CBI a household name. They were the go-to agency for justice when all else failed. Even the Supreme Court once called it the caged parrot, speaking in its master's voice, not out of praise but concern. Yet, the people still hope maybe this parrot will learn to fly again. In recent years, CBI has been accused of political bias, selective action, and timely raids coincidentally just before elections. Opposition leaders claim it's used to harass deserters. Even ruling party leaders say when in power, we fear the ED. When out of power, we fear the CBI. The irony is, everyone uses it and everyone fears it. Things like the infamous turf in 2018 between two top officers, Alok Verma and Rakesh Asthana, accusing each other of corruption. It was just like watching a temple collapse from within. The government had to step in and send both officers on leave. A first thing happened in Indian history. How can the people trust an agency that's busy investigating itself? Thus, likely there's a possibility that people's voice is fading. The common man is confused. Is the CBI still India's best bet for justice, or has it become just another chess piece in the game of power? Some still believe in its nobility. Others say it dances to the tune of Delhi. But everyone agrees, India needs a CBI. What it doesn't is a compromised one. Sometimes it has been called as the cage parrot, and other times the last hope for justice. The truth, like always, lies somewhere in between. It is a force born out of idealism, yet tangled in the thorns of politics. It carries the constitution in one hand and 1,000 unsolved files in the other. When it walks the right path, empires of corruption trembles. But when it strays, even the innocent are silenced in shadows. From solving complex murders to unearthing scams that shook the nation, the CBI has earned both respect and ridicule. And in a democracy, the duality is power: to question, to investigate, and to protect without fear or favor. What lies ahead of CBI? A need for autonomy, shielded from political tides, or a need for reform, in tune with today's digital and legal complexities? And above all, a need to regain trust, not just as an institution, but as an idea. For when the guardian is free, the nation sleeps in peace. If this journey through truth and power moved you, then like it, share, and subscribe, because the truth deserves a voice, and your click strengthens it.